Right. Stream is going live. Shooby dooby doo. Dooby dooby doo. Dooby dooby doo. We're live. We are live and in charge. Alright. Give the stream a minute or two. We're going to do a test. Test. There we go. We're good there. Right. Make sure the alerts went out. Booyah, booyah, booyah. Perfect. Running for about a minute so far. Alright. Nobody's in yet. Give it a couple minutes, everybody get in, hopefully. They get the alerts. The very first stream. Probably knowing my luck, no one's going to be showing up. But that's okay. That's okay. Oh, we got somebody in the stream, maybe? We got someone in the stream? Hopefully. Looks like we got one person. Give it a minute or two. Hello. How's the sound coming across? It's probably me talking to myself, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, we got more people in the stream now. We got some people coming in. That's always a cool thing. Thank you guys for stopping in for the very first stream on my channel. I'm going to give it another couple minutes, about another minute or so, to see if anybody else is going to jump in. How is the sound for the mic coming across to you guys? Just hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you guys think of the sound. Do I need to make it louder at all? I can increase the gain if it is needed. Please let me know. Please let me know. Alright. Let me do a test here, make sure the chat's working okay. What do we got? Oh, there we go, perfect. Looks like it's coming across okay. There is some latency, just so you guys will know. Woo! You know it, Joe. For life, baby, for life. That's why I got my Kenny Omega shirt on. I am a big-time wrestling fan. If you're a new subscriber or someone who actually watches my stuff, I do lots of stuff when it comes to wrestling. That's one thing I'm going to talk about in the actual stream tonight. I want to thank everyone who is dropping into the stream. It is going to be about maybe a 20-30 minute stream, more or less, depending on how we do it. This is my very first stream going live with no supervision. I don't have Cletus here with me for this stream. I do want to give him a big shout out, big plug to Cletus, the Hebrew Hammer, professional boxer, Funko collector. Big shout out to him for helping me set up this whole streaming process. Without him, I would have no clue what I'm doing. There's a lot of stuff under the hood for all the streaming stuff. If you're not aware, there is a lot of moving parts when it comes to streaming that most of the time normal viewers like yourselves have no clue what's really going on under the hood. And I'm going to talk about sort of stuff like that in upcoming videos of how I put all this stuff together. But it's going to be pretty cool. Like I said, it's going to be about 20-30 minutes or so. And I think I'm going to start it up. It's about 8:02 now. If you guys hopefully saw the messages on my Twitter and on my Facebook groups. If you haven't, definitely hit me up on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. On Twitter, it's @GeekRook. Facebook, you can just go inside Facebook groups, type in Rook Geek. Goodness, you'll be able to find me with no issues. This morning, I set up the thumbnail, pushed it out for you guys so you know kind of what time I'm going to be shooting at. This week's video, this week's stream, excuse me, and next week's stream are going to be more of an open format stream. I'm going to be just shooting off the cuff. I have nothing scripted ahead of time. This is going to be all open format both for myself and for you guys, the audience, from what I'm actually doing here. So probably the first thing I'm going to touch base with you guys. I have 5 people in the stream. Thank you guys for jumping into the stream. First things first, you might be asking yourself, well, Rook, why are you streaming and why are you streaming now? So let's actually address the 500-pound elephant in the room, so to speak. I wanted to start doing streaming because I wanted to add another form of content to my channel, to my YouTube channel. It's something I've never done before. Like I said, I'm going through growing pains right now with the whole process of streaming because I don't know what I'm doing. And I think it's a really new experience, something completely different. Just like when I started my channel up, I had no clue what I'm doing. Very similar to what that's happening right now. It's a brand new process for me to basically kind of knock out all the bugs, knock out all the problems, and I think it's coming along pretty good so far. Let me just scroll back up here, see how we're doing. Perfect. There is a bit of latency in the stream, so you will know. It's just it's a after effect or an issue with streaming itself, where I'm actually talking and it doesn't show up in the stream until about 3 to 5 seconds later. That's sort of a byproduct. I can't control that. That actually happens with all streamers, be it YouTubers or Twitch people. They always have that happen. It's something I can't control, unfortunately, but it's something that I have to get accustomed to because it's weird talking and I look at my second monitor. And if you notice, you might see my gaze go this way. I have a tablet set up which is extending off the side of my screen. That's why I'll look down and see how the stream's doing, check the health of the stream, make sure there's no issues with it, that sort of thing. So going back to why I'm doing streaming now, I had to do a segue there actually. But the reason why I'm doing streaming is mainly to touch base with my audience in as close to real time as I can get it. And that's what I was getting at with the delay. There's a bit of a delay, but as close to real time as I can actually do it. Normally when I actually do, let's say, a video, I'll upload a video. It might take maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to put together a video, upload it to the actual YouTube, so for people to actually watch it and comment on the videos. Awesome. Thank you, Sir Comics, a lot. I'm happy the mic's sounding good. This is the mic I'm using right here if you wanted to see. It's a condenser mic. Let me just take it off the little stand here. It's a pretty cool little mic, actually. About $25 US. Not bad. Pretty decent mic. I don't have it on a boom setup like an arm over here. As long as the sound is coming out good, I'm happy with that. That's fine by me. But as far as, like I was going to a second ago, why do streaming now? That's what I was going at with this. Why do streaming now? Mainly, it's to get real-time information to my audience and get feedback in real time or as close as I could possibly get to real time with you guys. Yeah, 3 people in the stream. Awesome, guys. That was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do streaming now. There's a sort of a byproduct to that as well, where one of the big things that happened at the end of February, this month actually, 2018, is that if you were a YouTuber, all YouTubers actually, if you didn't have 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers, you lost any monetization you would have had. My channel was demonetized on that day. I have no sour grapes against YouTube. I understand what they're doing. I was literally, and I mean this completely honest, I'm being completely honest with my subscribers, completely honest and transparent, I made pennies on the dollar. And what I mean by that is literally pennies on the dollar. I've talked about it in other videos at large. Let's put it this way. If you worked at a job, and let's say you put in 40 hours a week at a particular job, and you worked there for 5 months, let's call it 5 months, and you made enough money to fill your gas tank, how would you feel coming out with that type of paycheck every, let's say, 5 months? That's what's happened to me, at least on my channel. I make nothing on YouTube. I do this mainly for the enjoyment factor. I do it because I like shooting videos. I enjoy going out on toy hunts. I like doing that sort of stuff. I have a lot of fun doing it. Thanks for jumping into the chat, guys. For just joined in. So we got, looks like 4 people watching in chat. Thank you guys for jumping in here. Again, this is my very first stream here, so I'm trying to get the bugs knocked out of the system, so to speak. But that, going back to what I was saying, that was one of the main 2 reasons I wanted to start doing streaming, is to get real-time information with my audience and eventually, hopefully, gain my monetization back and grow my channel. I'm trying to grow it. Would I like to make it a full-time career? Absolutely. I think you can ask any YouTuber, would they love to actually make YouTube their job? Yeah, I think they really would. Fix my little pillow here. Got my new chair here. If you notice right here, it's Modern Lux. I got it on Amazon. Pretty good deal on that chair. Definitely take a look at it. Pretty good deal. But that's one of the main things. Yeah, I agree here, Joe. Since that adpocalypse happened, that happened. Thank you, Cletus. Woohoo! We got the Hebrew hammer in the chat. I think the sound's pretty good now, so from what I've been hearing in the chat so far, Cletus. But going back to what I was saying, that's one of the main things I want to do is to basically grow my channel, become a professional YouTuber. I can't really use that word because anyone who wants to become a professional YouTuber, you have to have a massive amounts of views, massive amount of ad revenue to be anywhere close to being successful. You got to have, I mean, approximately, if you work the numbers out, you got to have something like 100,000 views per video easily to make any real money on YouTube. Again, this isn't a money grab. I'm not trying to grab money. I'm just telling you what is happening out there. Maybe a lot of people don't know what's going on because they just absorb content on YouTube, but they don't know the underlying principles of what's really happening. One thing I kind of strive for, at least personally to myself, I try to come across as a genuine person. I try to come across as someone telling you complete honesty with their channel, what's going on. I think I do a pretty good job most of the time. Am I completely foolproof? No, I'm not. But I think I do pretty good for a guy who literally had no acting experience, no graphic design knowledge, had no clue how YouTube works, have no clue, look at me now, no clue how streaming works. I've actually helped get there. Yep, that's true, Joe. One second here. There we go. But 100,000 views, I'm just using it as a ballpark number. You have to make at least 100,000 views on a video. That's, I think, if we work the math out, it's about, I think, between 100 and maybe $200. My most viewed video was my GameStop mystery box unboxing, which was Black Friday. That particular video, I think, had, I want to say, 6,500 views on it. I think I didn't make a whole lot on that video. It's my most viewed video, most watched video. Why? To this day, I don't know. I asked that question to all my viewers, my subscribers. I don't know why that video has done as well as it's done. I don't understand why. I mean, I advertised it just like my other videos. There was nothing different as far as how I shot it. I shot it very similar to how I shoot everything else. But that video has done very, very well for me. So I'm really happy with that video. Again, this is open format, guys. If you want to type anything in the chat, you're more than welcome to. Definitely want to thank again Cletus from Life of Cletus, the Hebrew Hammer, professional boxer and Funko collector. He actually assisted me getting this chat together, getting the whole stream working at least sensibly to you guys so you can actually enjoy some content. Again, it is going to be as close to real time as you possibly can get. Yep, that's true, Joe. People like the mystery box stuff. Most of the time, I want to hit on that point. Most of the time, when I do my GameStop unboxing videos, most of the time they do pretty good for me. I think the lowest ones I want to say, I think was nothing less than 500 views on that particular video. My channel doesn't govern a lot of views. It really doesn't. I wish it did. I wish it had a lot more traction. I wish it was out there to more people. But unfortunately, it's not. I want to, again, grow this channel. I want to make an ecosystem and a community for you guys to reach out to me. If you want me to discuss something, if you want me to talk about, you know, something, anything. If you want to say, hey, Rook, I like action figures. I like this. I like that. As you can tell in my feedback, in my comments, I'm very hands-on when it comes to my community. I probably answer, I would say, 90% of comments on my channel. I try to write back to everybody. Even being a small YouTuber like I am, I try to communicate with you guys because without an audience, I wouldn't have fun doing what I'm doing, and I do enjoy doing this sort of stuff. I think it's very, very fun to reach out with a message. In this case, collectability stuff, collections, toys, collectibles, unboxings, toy hunts, statue reviews, action figures, things like that. That's the stuff I enjoy. I know that Cletus went out to, I think he was at Toy Fair this last weekend. I will talk about, in my Wednesday video, I will talk about my haul video, which will be part 2. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, definitely check out after the stream part 1 of my Comic-Con 2018 Revolution video, which was a very small convention in West Palm Beach. I was there for about 6-7 hours. It was a really small convention. You had literally more people in Artist Alley than you had dealers. Usually that ratio is most of the time bad. But again, this is their very first convention, so I can cut them a bunch of slack. Because again, this is the first time they've ever done something like this. So I think it's a really cool, it was a really cool convention nonetheless. One thing I didn't shoot any video for, yep, Me Too Cletus is going to be coming out this Wednesday. It was a small haul. It wasn't a really big haul. They had a couple really good pops there. Nothing, I wouldn't say nothing more than, I think the most expensive pop I saw there, at least with a price sticker on it, was about $40-50. It was ones that I was tempted to buy, but I didn't pull the trigger. I went back to the booth, and I was tempted to buy it, but I didn't. I went back to it later on the day, and the item I was looking for was gone. So, I mean, it's a small haul. I picked up some pops. I picked up some art. I definitely love picking up art. I definitely love supporting local artists who are trying to either break into comics, or the people who are, let's say, established comic artists that are basically coming down because they're running maybe the convention scene. They're following a trek through, through all the cons, which I can do. I did meet Ron Mars. If you're not familiar who he is a well-established comic writer. He is one of the 2 guys that were responsible for the 1990 version of the Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, my favorite Green Lantern. He was there. I actually talked with him for about 10 minutes. I actually got some stuff signed by him, which I'm going to talk about in the part 2 video. One thing also I want to let you guys know about is, let me just grab a link here because I want to throw it to you guys, which I'm very, very proud of this. I'm actually on 2 different podcasts. I'll stick it in chat so you can see it. I'm actually on 2 different podcasts. One is the First Jedi podcast, First Jedi Temple podcast. I do that with Collecting and Hobbies. We do that every once in a while. I'm sort of a guest host on that one. The one I'm really happy about is the one that I dropped that link for in chat. I and myself in Collecting and Hobbies. I'm going to talk about him in a second, Cletus. I'm going to talk about him in a second. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The link I dropped in for the Buzzsprout link there was basically for the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast. Yes, I did, Joe. Yes, I did. I will give you my thoughts on that in a second, actually. I just don't want to bore anybody with that. But the link that you saw there is for what's called a Worldwide Wrestling Podcast. It's something that me and Collecting and Hobbies, who's another YouTuber and podcaster, do. We do that on basically, I would say, a monthly basis. Whenever a WWE pay-per-view comes out, like the Elimination Chamber, which Joe Cola mentioned a second ago, we actually shoot a podcast for it. The podcast is up to Ultimate Killer 13. What's going on, guy? I got 6 people in the chat. Cool. I'm happy with the numbers so far. The Worldwide Wrestling Podcast had a total of 1, 2, 3, I believe 4 episodes so far. It's a pretty new podcast. Him and I actually do this wrestling podcast. I get on our own free time. We're not paid. We're not sponsored by anybody. This is something that him and I do on our own time, basically. And basically, he handles Collecting Hobby handles the WWE side of the podcast. He handles all the normal World Wrestling Entertainment stuff. I handle everything else. I handle the New Japan Wrestling stuff. I handle the Ring of Honor stuff. We talk about news. We talk about pay-per-views, things like that. That's what we normally do. It's a very small podcast. You have to basically use that link I provided in chat. I'll dump it in again if anybody is interested in it again. One extra time there. Just in case, if you guys want to check a look at it, you're more than welcome to. You can listen to it. You can download it if you're interested in wrestling. He talks, like I said, about the WWE stuff. I talk about everything else. It's about 2 hours or so of us just going back and forth about different things. So it's a really cool podcast. We have a lot of fun doing it. Now, going back to Cletus's, did I speak to Ming Chen? Yes, I did. I actually name-dropped Cletus's name there, and he told me that both himself and Cletus were trying to hit up the Funko booth to get some free stuff. So I thought it was really, really funny. I wanted to interview him, but he was really, I would say out of all the entertainers that were there, he was probably the busiest. Out of all the normal people that showed up, as far as celebrities go, there wasn't a whole lot of celebrities. One thing I was very surprised about at that small convention was they had a lot of panels. I was really surprised about the number of panels they had at that particular convention. I mean, for just having mind you, it was a 1 day show. It wasn't like going, let's say, SuperCon where it goes, let's say, 4 days, or MegaCon, which is 4 days. This is a 1 day show, and they had, I want to say, at least close to a dozen panels, and to have it at least with a form of professionalism and broken out, and you would see the rooms, and like the rooms were staggered when you walked into the convention hall. It's a really clean convention hall, and you walk down the line, you would see all the rooms all situated. I mean, the layout was much better. Hey Jackie, how's it going here? Thank you for coming into the stream. So I mean, the layout was really cool for just having a 1 day show. I think it was really good, really well put together for just being a 1 day convention. I see them working better than in the bigger leagues, let's say MegaCon or SuperCon. I've seen their stuff is usually all over the place for most of the time, and panels that you think is in room A, it's actually now in room B. It got bumped. No one told anybody. There's no PA announcement, no nothing, so you don't really know what's going on. I've seen it happen on bigger shows as well. One of the other things... Did you get anything actually, Cletus? Let me know. Hit me up in the chat. Did you get anything? You have stroke with Funko, man. You have a lot of weight with them. But yeah, the having Revolution Con being 1 day, I think it did really good for just being a 1 day convention. Again, very surprised how they put it together. I know they're doing another one in another state, I believe. Let me just grab that info. I can tell you where they're going with that one here. Wait 1 second. Let me get that information here. They're doing 2 different conventions from what it looks like. They have the Revolution Con, and they have another one. I think it's in May. It's in Ontario. It's in California, actually. It's on May 19th and May 20th. So that one's actually a 2-day event, as opposed to a 1 day event. Thanks that you didn't get anything. Like I said, I wanted to grab an interview with him, but he was really busy compared to everybody else there. They had a lot of... They didn't have a whole lot of celebrities, but they had a few there. Ming Chen seemed to be probably one of the biggest, which is kind of funny coming from a show. Let's say I think I think it's on Comedy Central, the Comic Book Men. It might be. I could be off there. There was big news this morning, if people weren't aware. Kevin Smith, speaking of Ming Chen, Kevin Smith suffered a massive heart attack last night. He actually had to get, I'm assuming he got surgery done. He had, I think it said 100% blockage in one part of AMC, that's what it was. He had 100% blockage in one of his arteries in his heart. So he actually is still alive. Thank you, Sir Comics, yep. I couldn't remember if it was Comedy Central or AMC. It is AMC. Which I think is the same channel as Walking Dead, I believe. I haven't watched Walking Dead since season 5, I think it was. That was the last one I think I saw. They did the stuff with the governor. I saw the stuff with the governor. Was the last season I saw, and they did the stuff with the prison. That was the last season I saw of Walking Dead. I kind of just lost it. It was all right, but I'm not a big horror guy. There's a lot of blood and guts on the show, but I don't know how the show's doing now. But it was okay. It was okay. Excuse me. So what do you guys think of the chat so far? Stream coming along pretty well? Hit me up in the comments. But again, Kevin Smith, from what I've heard, just touch base to circle back on that, he is doing okay from what I've heard. I saw the Twitter feed that came out early this morning that he was in a hospital. I think he was doing a show. I think he was doing one of his Q&A shows. And I think he had 2 shows planned. He did the first show. He had some issues, and they rushed him to the hospital. And he was in a bad way. He was in a very bad way. So I'm very happy that he got the treatment that he needed. So what else? What I'm going to be doing with this stream and next week's stream, which I really didn't talk about, is this stream today. Thanks, Jackie. This stream today is going to be a open forum. If you want to talk about stuff, hit me up in the chat. We'll discuss stuff. Next week's stream will be very similar to this one. It's going to be another open forum. I think the following stream, the third stream I'm going to be doing, I think that one's going to be a Q&A. I want to do a Q&A. I've been really chomping at the bit to do a Q&A. I haven't got a whole lot of questions that got posed to me. Oh yeah, Chamber. Thank you very much, Joe. Forgot about that. Tell you where my head's at. But I want to definitely do a Q&A on the next, that following, after these two streams I do, the next one I want to do a Q&A. To circle back to Joe Cola's thoughts on the Chamber. If you're not a wrestling fan, WWE had a pay-per-view last night called Elimination Chamber. It was not one of their bigger shows, one of their smaller shows actually. And their gimmick is that they have a steel structure that's encompassing the entire ring, and there's 4 pods sort of sit catty corner to each turnbuckle. So they're sitting on an angle like this, basically. I don't know if you can see it, but it's sort of angled like this. So you have, imagine a squared circle, and there's pods coming in an angle. So you have a person in each pod. And you'd have 2 people that would start the match. Every 5 minutes, a pod would open, and a new person would come in. That's their elimination chamber. You win by pin or submission. You have to pin someone or make them submit in the middle of the ring. Elimination Chamber was a okay pay-per-view, in my opinion. It was their very first women's Elimination Chamber. They're doing stuff now with this women revolution. Women are getting more empowered now. They're doing a lot more stuff with women going on now. It's really cool what they did with the women. It actually kicked off the show, which was rather surprising. I thought the women's chamber match was pretty good. We have 5 people in the stream. Cool. I'm happy we got 5 people. We're running for 26 minutes so far, which I'm very, very happy about. So I'll keep going a little bit. As long as you guys want to stick around, we can keep going. The Elimination Chamber, I thought it was okay. The match ran a decent amount of time. I don't think it was too long. It went well. I was knowing going into that chamber match. Hey, Tony, how's it going, man? Good to see you in the chat. Perfect. Doing well, sir. Doing well. The chamber match, the women's match went pretty long. I didn't really have any issues with it. It was a good match. It was a good match. I really didn't have any problems. We're talking about the Elimination Chamber from WWE. For anyone who just came into the chat, we got 5 people watching right now. That was okay. I knew going into it, as I was saying, that Alexa Bliss was going to win. I knew that she was going to win. I didn't think they were going to pull the belt off her right now. She was the best person right now in that division, really, on the mic, and her in-ring work. It's still sad that Paige can't compete because of the issues she had, the medical issues. She's pretty much retired now. She had a bad stinger, she had neck surgery, and she had a really, really bad bump that she took on a house show, and the ref gave the X, which in wrestling terms mean there's an injury, so they had to bring her out of the ring, and it's unfortunate for her and her group, Absolution, that she can't wrestle any longer, but she's doing stuff outside of being physical. She brings them to the ring, that sort of thing. She does interviews, so forth and so on. Moving on, they had the tag match with The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, and Titus Worldwide. That was a throwaway match. Horrible. We had Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. Again, they don't really know what they're doing with those 2 guys, which is unfortunate. That one wasn't great. Then we had the big Ronda Rousey signing. I thought it was really interesting what they did with Ronda Rousey. She has a bit of stage fright when it comes to her talking. She doesn't talk very well. She's not a mouthpiece. It's not like they are going to throw her with Paul Heyman. I think that would be a cool idea. There's a lot of talks right now in the wrestling world, in the dirt sheets, things like that. You can go online. You can find all this information out. The issue is now Brock Lesnar is going to be leaving. His contract is going to be expiring. A lot of people are predicting that he's going to go back to UFC. He does have to complete his 7-month suspension now because he tested positive for enhancement drugs. So he's going to he still has a suspension, so he's going to be off. He makes, if you're not familiar, about $12 million a year in WWE. You can find that information if you look online. He's the most highest paid guy. He's paid higher than John Cena. Just so everyone will know, he's the highest paid guy in WWE right now, and he only wrestles on a handful of dates, and that's just the way he does things. So more power to Lesnar. But people are maybe thinking that he may actually get a mouthpiece. Yeah, I agree, Joe. I agree. I don't know why they didn't decide to do something with Brock with the steroid stuff. You would think that him being a wrestler on their roster, that they would drug test him as well. Same thing when they drug tested Roman Reigns. He came out positive for steroids as well. So it's kind of odd where they sort of pick and choose who they want to drug test and when they want to drug test them. They're big top guys. They usually won't. Reigns got busted. But people are kind of predicting that after Lesnar goes, they might give Ronda, maybe Heyman, as a mouthpiece, which would be a very, very smart idea. You want to have one of the baddest women when it came to MMA, UFC in the ring. Give them someone that actually could talk for her, which would be Paul Heyman. That would be a really good idea. That would be she would be the female Brock Lesnar. I don't know if she's going to have the same type of schedule as Brock. I'm thinking maybe. Excuse me. But I don't know yet. I don't know the schedule that she's going to have. So we shall see about that. I thought the signing was interesting. Of course, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, probably, like I said, one of the biggest MMA stars that ever came out of MMA, at least even from the female perspective. I mean, she dwarfed a lot of the men at most points. She would actually sell at pay-per-views because of her name recognition and her brand status. Tony, I do not play WWE 2K18. I do have a PS4. I haven't used it in about, I want to say, 3 years. I haven't touched it in about 3 years. I watch a lot of the up, down, down streams. I watch The New Day, Xavier Woods. He does a lot of stuff with 2K18. If I was to go back into a wrestling game, let's do a little segue right here. Oh, Sir Comics, I'll get to that in a second here. Going back to Tony stuff. If I was to actually play a wrestling game, besides 2K18, I would probably play Fire Pro. Fire Pro was an excellent game. I know they just released it on Steam now. I think either pretty recently, actually. It might have been the end of last year, beginning of this year. But you can download anybody. It's a really cool game. Really, really cool. But I would definitely love to eventually get back into gaming again. I haven't done it in so long. I wouldn't be the guy for streaming it. I'm not that guy. I have the capability of doing it now, but I probably wouldn't do streaming. I would just do it to enjoy playing it. I don't think I would be that guy to do it on Twitch. I do all my stuff, at least going forward now, on YouTube. You can do it on Twitch, but I don't really want to go to that platform right now. This platform right now on YouTube is good enough for me. But to talk about Ronda, she actually they kept the angle going, which was really cool, from I think 3 WrestleManias ago when she was with The Rock. She came in, made a like a little debut, and she grabbed Stephanie like in an arm, grabbed her arm, because we all know that Ronda does arm bars and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely, Tony. Definitely take a look at it. It's called Fire Pro Wrestling. I believe it's on Steam. Really cool game. You can download anybody, anywhere. Hey, Nick, how's it going, sir? Like I said, yeah, you can download anybody in Fire Pro. It's a really, really cool game. Different engine that you'll ever see. It's reminiscent to the old Aki games from what I've seen. Your strong grabs and weak grabs. Depending on how physically tired the guy is, your moveset will change. You can get anybody in that game. They have hundreds of guys you can download. Different rings. Awesome. Glad to see you here, Nick. Different rings you can download, different skins you can put in, and you don't have to create the guys as long as they were created, somewhat properly. That they have basically an algorithm that will show how each wrestler would work in the actual match itself. As long as they created it pretty well, you can get anybody you would ever think as far as wrestling goes. So all the work has already been taken out. You can make the guys up yourself if you wanted to. But you can just, click download AJ Styles. You want Kenny Omega. You want the Bullet Club. You want the Young Bucks. You want Misawa. You want Ogawa. You want all old school wrestlers. You can get anybody you want. So it's pretty cool, actually. Now, to answer Sir Comics a lot's question, what do I collect besides Pops? I used to collect Transformers. I stopped collecting them. I didn't like what they were doing after the Combiner Wars. Combiner Wars was the last set of stuff I collected. Um, I don't have any vintage stuff, but as far as the newer stuff, that would be the stuff I had. Was up to up to Combiners Wars. We still have 6 people in chat. Awesome, going for 35 minutes. So Combiners Wars was the last line of Transformers I picked up. I used to collect GI Joe as well. The 3 3/4 figures, the small ones that everyone's used to, the small figures. Mainly, I used to collect them when I was younger, but as far as now, I'm a big fan of Snake Eyes. I actually love the Snake Eyes character in Storm Shadow. All the ninja characters I really, really like. I have lots of the Snake Eyes figures. Those were my favorites. I used to have tons of GI Joes in the old days, in the early '80s. I had the headquarters. I didn't have the flag, the USS flag. I think it was like a 4 foot long ship. It was an actual. When I say it was it was a aircraft carrier. It was huge. I think you can put 2 Sky Strikers on the actual aircraft carrier. That's how big it was. I think it was 4 or 5 feet. You had to put it in pieces. You had to actually assemble it in sections. That's how big that actual aircraft carrier was. I think you could have 2 Sky Strikers, if I remember correctly, on it actually. So I mean, it was a really, really big toy. I think at that time, when it was selling back then, I think it was like maybe 150, $200 back then. Now it goes for thousands now to get an actual mint in box flag, USS flag. It's ridiculous how expensive that actual aircraft carrier is. But I actually collected GI Joe back then, and I collected, now as far as Snake Eyes figures, when they actually put out any actual any stuff, Hasbro has not, I would say, in the last 5 years at least, put out any new GI Joe stuff. The stuff that you normally see anywhere now are special, let's say 2 packs that maybe go to Toys R Us. You may see the JoeCon, which is a special convention that GI Joe has. I think every year they make special custom figures or special custom vehicles. They're just reskins of other vehicles. They'll take pieces and make new figures out of it. They'll do different paint variants. That's what JoeCon does. And same thing, I think BotCon, Transformers has one as well. But as far as those 2 properties, I used to collect them, not so much right now. As you said, I actually do Pops. I do collect Pops. I sort of get particular ones I want. I don't grab everything. There might be a wave of certain Pops will come out. I'll get those. Other stuff I collect Black Series. I do the Star Wars Black Series. Not every single figure that comes out. I get certain ones. Certain figures I do absolutely like. Again, it's very, very piecemealed what I would collect. I probably won't collect an entire wave. I'll see, you'll see, let's say a figure will come out, let's say, hypothetically, it was Darth Revan. I might get that figure. If it was, let's say, Ahsoka Tano that came out, I'll get that figure. I'll get different figures there. Right now, they're on. If you watch my videos, you might see in the bottom right corner of my videos, you'll see the Black Series stuff on the bottom 2 shelves. At least right now, everything's in package, except for, I think, Revan and the prototype Boba Fett. I actually have 2 of those. One of them's still in box, one of them's open. My most expensive action figure right now is my Black Series original Boba Fett, the one that came out in the original packaging, not the red and black packaging, the older design, which was black with, I think, a blue line that went down the side, or like a tan line. The original Boba Fett that came out, I think, for like the 2nd or 3rd wave. I do have that figure mint in box. I've never opened it. I'm not going to open it. I'm not going to review that one. I might eventually do a review of the prototype armor. Yeah, I agree. I think it would be cool doing a 6-inch G.I. Joe figure. The biggest problem, though, in this situation for comics is that they're not doing anything with the license. That's the problem right now. I don't know if the license has expired. I don't know if they just don't care anymore. I don't know if they're just waiting for a new movie and then they're going to drop a lot of stuff. Hey, NYC, how's it going, sir? I don't know if they're going to be waiting for, all this time and then they're going to start dropping stuff when a movie is to push sales when it comes to getting merch out. That might be what they're doing, which is what I have a feeling they're probably going to do. But I don't know if that's the approach they're going to actually take. It's sad that we don't have any more G.I. Joe stuff, at least in this day and age. Having a 6-inch stuff, if they did 6-inch designs, let's say highly articulate figures, I think that'd be really, really cool as well. Yeah, I saw that one, Cletus. I saw your, I think you had 2 droids. I think I saw it on either my YouTube feed or on Facebook, or no, it was on Instagram. It was on Instagram where I saw pictures of your Boba Fett droids. But yeah, I actually do the Black Series stuff as well. The only thing, of course, I'm also a big Green Lantern fan. I usually collect anything when it comes to action figures or merchandise for Green Lantern. Yep, your second one. That's cool, dude. Don't forget the little guys here when you go up to Emerald City Comic Con. The I actually get, excuse me, the Green Lantern stuff. I actually get as much Green Lantern stuff as I possibly can. In my opinion, people may not agree. He would be more of a second-tier hero. In this day and age, maybe people don't even know who Green Lantern is, except for the crappy Ryan Reynolds movie that came out a few years ago that basically helped, destroy a legacy of a great character. It's a shame that there's not a lot of merchandise really out for Green Lantern compared to, high-tier heroes. You have the Trinity, which in DC is known as Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. Those three characters are known as the Trinity in DC Comics. I'm not a massive Batman fan. I do have a ton of Batman pops. I don't know why. Oh, hey, there's my partner in crime, Collecting Hobbies. How's it going, sir? Am I getting the trash compactor one? Not the trash compactor one. I actually picked up the Cantina face-off. I actually have that one. That one's going to be reviewed probably in a few weeks. Excuse me, I have that one, and I have the Luke and Vader one, which was a Walgreens exclusive. That one's sitting on. If you watch my videos on the top shelf to the right, you'll see it there. So it's actually sitting there. I just haven't reviewed it yet. I think they're called movie moments. They're really, really cool Funko products. But as far as Green Lantern stuff goes, I try to get as much merchandise as I possibly can, because they don't make a whole lot of it. If you're Batman, if you're Superman, if you're Wonder Woman, you get tons of merchandise. I really don't. Yeah, they are very, very cool. My favorite pop. Oh, that's a tough call. That's a tough call. I did this with Collecting Hobbies in our video. We did a podcast yesterday that my favorite pop. Probably it's my first group of pops I ever got. I've mentioned it before many times. It's what got me in the Funko would be the Big Bang Theory pops. Those now are kind of expensive. They go between the normal ones, which would be Leonard, Howard, Sheldon, and Raj. Those four pops. Those go between anywhere from $60 to $70 a piece. The problem is when I first started getting into Funko, I didn't really do much with the boxes. I was an out-of-box guy. I took the box and I threw it out. I kind of kick myself now for doing that, because having the package is very important as well. A lot of people are maybe out-of-box collectors where they don't care about the packaging. They just want the vinyl figure. And I respect that. I have stuff that's out of packaging that you can see on my videos. Certain things I take out of packaging, certain things I keep in box. Eventually, I would like to de-box more stuff, but I just don't have the display area yet. Eventually, when I get to a bigger apartment or a bigger home, that's something I'm definitely going to do. I want to get more shelves in place. I want to get more places where I can display stuff. I want to do stuff with my statues. That'll be the next piece that I'll talk about from what Sir Comics was talking about. Is as far as collecting, I do like collecting statues, but the biggest problem with collecting statues is that their price points are very, very high. If you're looking, let's say, Sideshow collectibles, which are probably the biggest name when it comes to statues, Sideshow, Hot Toys, and maybe Kotobukiya underneath that are probably the biggest names in statues. The biggest problem is the price point for those statues are very, very, very high, and they take a lot of space. That Green Lantern statue I got from my girlfriend is literally, I mean, it's going off my screen here. It's literally about 2 feet tall. So it takes a lot of space up to do statues. The Lobo Pop was good, but I don't think it was one of my favorites. It was a good pop, but not the best. Another thing I collect besides the Green Lantern stuff, to just circle back to that, was I collect Power Rangers, but I collect the Mighty Morphin stuff. I collect mainly Green Ranger and White Ranger. I always marked out from the Tommy Oliver character, Jason David Frank. I really like the White Ranger character and the Green Ranger character. Those are the ones I really like. I have a little shelf set up, which you guys can't see when I don't shoot any video for that portion of it. It has all my Power Ranger stuff. It has Green Ranger stuff, White Ranger stuff. So I was really, really happy to get the Dragonzord Funko Pop when that came out. I was not able to get the Megazord, unfortunately, because it was a convention exclusive. I wasn't able to find that guy, which was just a shame. I wish I could have gotten that guy. But it is what it is. I'm very, very happy with my collection so far. It's grown over time. I'm running out of shelf space again, so I've got to get more shelves. I do like, one thing I mentioned at the beginning of the stream is I like collecting art that I go to conventions for. I'm going to be storing it now in like a portfolio. So when I actually go and buy somebody's art at a show, I'll have somewhere to store it. Eventually I'm going to be putting it up on my walls, and I can switch the art in and out whenever I want, sort of on the fly. So if I get tired of a certain print that's up, I can take it down and put a new one up. So I think that is a really cool idea as well. What else should we talk about, guys? We've been running for 45 minutes right now. I'm very, very happy with the results of this stream. I think the audio quality was coming out good. We'll give it a few more minutes in case anybody else want to jump in. What do you guys want to talk about? Anything, just hit me up in the chat. Let me get a drink here. Very happy with the chat so far. I think I had 8 people at one time. $15 minutes. Cool. Cool. Yeah, collecting hobbies. He's also known as Admiral Akbar. I did mention our Worldwide Wrestling podcast earlier. I'll dump the link into the stream again in case anybody is interested in it. It is on Buzzsprout. If you're interested in the Worldwide Wrestling podcast, him and I do that, as I talked about earlier, in case you just joined me into the stream. We do that usually on a pay-per-view event after a pay-per-view happens. Yep, thank you very much, Tony. Thank you very much. So, again, I want to thank everybody for watching the stream. We'll give it another minute or so to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody who came into my stream for the very first time. It is going to be an open format. I know, right? I was going to say 15, 20 minutes max. I just always ramble, so I hear my own voice. So, I'm happy it lasted this long. I want to thank everybody for watching the stream. The next one's going to be an open format as well. We'll just talk about whatever stuff. Maybe next Monday I'll talk about it a little bit. I want to address an issue that happened with my nieces. They did go to Stoneman Douglas in Parkland. So they were not in the actual shooting, but they were involved at the school when it happened. So I do want to kind of touch base on that maybe on the next stream. So guys, I'm going to be cutting the streams short. Yep, about close to an hour. That's what I was talking about. Again, I want to thank everybody who jumped into this stream. This is a VOD, video on demand. So after the stream ends, it will be automatically going up on YouTube. So you guys can watch it whenever you want. Again, we're probably touching base maybe on that Stoneman Douglas situation next week a little bit, just because it affected me and my family. No one was hurt, thankfully, but it was kind of scary to the actual kids. So I want to thank everybody who stopped by in the stream, this inaugural stream. It went really, really well, better than I thought it would be. It's running a little bit long. We're at the 47-minute mark right now. I think I'm going to cut it where we're at now. Again, I want to thank everybody that came into the stream. Collecting Hobbies, thanks for shopping in. Jackie, thank you. My boy Cletus, always here to help me out. Tony, thank you for stopping in. And thank everybody who actually is watching the chat. Let me scroll back up a little bit if I missed anybody. Joe Cola, if you're still in the chat, thank you very much for stopping by. And Sir Comics a lot as well. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to be cutting this stream down, guys, in 3, in 2, and in 1. See you guys. Take care.